Hi everybody. Welcome to my presentation entitled 3 Pillars of Elementary English Education in Japan, Word, Sentence, Function, presented August 2nd, 2016 at the International Education Conference in San Francisco. My name is Jan Stewart. I'm from Chikushi Women's University in Dazaifu, Japan. In 2011, the Japanese Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science, and Technology introduced a program of teaching English to 5th and 6th grade elementary school students. The purpose of this program was to nurture people who could play an active role amid intensifying international competition. The goal of this program was to teach 285 words and 50 expressions in preparation for formal junior high school English studies. There has also been talk of starting this program at the 4th grade. In spite of government efforts, many parents take matters into their own hands, enrolling children in private language schools as early as kindergarten. They value the native speaker approach, but they are unable to extricate themselves from the Japanese approach, which is, on the whole, cognitive, represented by rote learning. This sometimes leads to the phenomenon known as monster parents. These people have a vague notion of communication, but no definite idea of what this means or how to achieve it. Ironically, tangible progress is often measured in terms of the step test, a popular standardized test used in Japan. Here is a sample problem from the children's step test. One question states, "I'm wearing glasses. I like fireworks. I have a fan. Who am I?" And you can see in this picture that person 3 fits the description. Another question says, "My dress is pink. I'm sitting. I'm looking at the fireworks. Who am I?" Now this is a little bit trickier because the fireworks are small handheld fireworks, and you see that person 1 fits this description. Although the step test is an integrative test, it does not contribute to active communication. It's entirely passive, depending on receptive skills of listening and circling the correct answer. The children themselves are often baffled by the concept of communication. They wonder out loud as to why they are studying English. From an adult's point of view, a good reason is, in case you meet a foreigner. But the children think they would have as good a chance of meeting a foreigner as they would of meeting an alien if walking down the street. When writing the ABCs, they wonder, it's just another form of kanji, isn't it? After all, English letters often have a decorative function in Japan. You can read the letters on this bus, but real buses have letters that are virtually illegible. Which brings us to explore the basic reasons for this confusing situation. In 1965, Chomsky proposed the language acquisition device, which operates between the ages of 12 months and 12 years. The underlying thoughts that generate utterances are known as deep structures. In a transformation, these thoughts rise to the surface. However, in a second language, there is a second transformation from the L1 surface structure to the L2 surface structure. This is Krashen's L1 interference, though he would have learners bypass the L1 surface structure if possible. Krashen also suggested that the optimum input for language acquisition would be comprehensible input, but the natural language presented in Western textbooks is often not comprehensible. Therefore, the purpose of this paper is to find a common core, so to speak, of foreign language instruction by examining the language found in Western textbooks, taught in Japanese tests, spoken by American children, and desired to be spoken by Japanese children. In a cross-sectional study, 20 Japanese children from age 4 to 13 reported in Japanese what they would like to say in English. The results showed mostly information questions and likes and wants. In a longitudinal study carried out over 2 years, one American child from ages 3 to 5 produced a number of different types of sentences, such as declarative, narrative, exclamatory, ability, obligation, likes, and wants. The 6-volume series, English Time, by Oxford University Press, revealed a focus on verb tenses and, as mentioned before, featured natural language. The children's step test, which is almost entirely a test of receptive listening skills, implicitly emphasizes the SVOC system, which is later taught at the secondary level in Japan. From these data, it was determined that early learners conceive of words as expressions of general categories of items, such as person, thing, action, thoughts, greetings, time, and place. As the learners grow older, they are able to build sentences. Finally, they learn how to do things with words. Here are some examples of early learners' conceptions of words: person, thing, action, greetings, descriptor, time, and place. This illustration uses an anthropomorphic figure to contain all the different categories. And here are some examples. Greetings, hello. Subject, verb, place, a bird flies in the air. Subject, verb, object, place, and time, I take the bus to school in the morning. Subject, verb, object, thought, and time, I want to ride a horse when I grow up. And finally, we can derive information, or WH questions, from these categories of words. During the 5th and 6th grade program, the children are not allowed to write. Constructing sentences begins in junior high school and continues into high school, where the emphasis is on the SVOC system. And here you see the examples. John woke up in the morning. John was lonely. John remembered Naomi in Kyoto. John sent flowers to Naomi. The flowers made Naomi happy. John wanted Naomi to like him. John wanted to see Naomi. It was found that older learners are finally able to do things with language. You see here the functions: imperative, volition, narrative, obligation, descriptions, preference, potential, time and place, greetings, and exclamation. Interestingly, these functions were found almost entirely among the corpus of words of an American child in this study. Some general observations were made about the study. The first is that very young children, from about ages 4 to 7, are able to communicate using vocabulary and greetings. At about age 8, they're able to do simple sentence construction, generally with the parts of speech such as noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, conjunction, determiner, preposition, interjection. At about age 13, they have the ability to construct word order sentences instead of using the Japanese case markers, which indicate nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, and vocative. At about age 18, we see what they can actually do with the language. It is interesting to note that these observations of functions correspond very closely with Piaget's stages of development. If we hypothesize that these functions are a feature of Piaget's stages, we should be able to verify our hypothesis through practical experiments. And this is what we've done in the following slides. You see here from ages 4 to 7, they're able to do word categories by placing cards upon the different sections of the table. Hito, meaning person. Mono, meaning thing. Jikan, meaning time. Basho, meaning place. And in the center there is suru, meaning actions. In the next slide, you see the girl in the upper left, who is about 8 years old, was unable to do the task of the information questions, but these two junior high school students, ages 14 and 13 respectively, performed this task with 99% accuracy. In the 13 to 18 age group, they begin to use the SVOC system, as you see in this high school class in Japan. Bill came to Japan to teach English. And in this final slide, the students are about 22 years old, a college fourth-year class. They're able to do functions. Back to our original goal of finding a common core of children's English instruction, we administered the junior step test of about 45 questions. And you see the previous average was 40.8%. 1 year ago, the students averaged 47.73%, which was an improvement of 7%. After 1 year, in the final test, the average was 72.45%, which represented an improvement of 24.7% using the enhanced instruction. In this study, the speech patterns of Japanese and American children were compared and contrasted with language items taught in Western textbooks and tested in Japanese tests. The results were distilled into 7 categories of words, 7 case markers, and 8 functions. From these, a teaching program was devised that allowed children to visualize the various components of language, set up a functional context for speaking, and transform the Japanese case markers into English sentences using appropriate word order. The 3 pillars of elementary English education in Japan are words, sentences, and functions. The program was tested by administering the junior step test, both as a pre-test and as a post-test. The results showed a significant improvement in scores over the 2-year period of this study. And thank you for attending my presentation.